Is Florida education system censoring science? What? Welcome to another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up. It's your host, Joe Hoxley, David Washington. Today we're going to delve into Florida's latest curriculum shakeup. Textbook authors are being told to cut climate change references to get state approval. This mirrors previous actions against the perceived indoctrination in math and social studies books. Governor Ron DeSantis' administration is making it clear climate science is now on the chopping block. Critics argue this will deprive students of essential knowledge as the state grapples with severe climate impact.
Well, again, the DeSantis is the governor. He's in charge. He sets the tone of the official policy and not making any apologies for his actions. However, he is the state's commander-in-chief of everything. And with a Republican conservative supermajority, he's pretty much have gotten what he's wanted. There's been some pushback on certain things. We discussed earlier about the $32 million that was cut from the state budget for cultural and arts. And that was based on a conservative philosophy of, making sure that tax dollars is not going towards things that are culturally unacceptable in his eyes.
This is agenda driven, okay? There's a difference between climate change and climate change. Now, that sounds stupid, but climate changes. And if you're talking about how the climate changes, you're talking about the greenhouse effect, you're talking about the science, You're not getting in trouble. It's staying there. But if you're talking about climate change as a human, development without all the resources, without saying that volcanoes, create, the same amount of, more than humans do in this endeavor, that the cows, methane into the atmosphere. If you're not talking about it all, that's talking science is talking science. But saying that man is the cause of climate change is where you're making a political statement. So it's let's be clear, they're not saying you can't talk about climate change and how the climate change is and the science behind it. It's trying to pinpoint the political portion where you must do X, Y, and Z because you are doing Z, X, and Y.
Yeah, I think this whole indoctrination argument is kind of mind-boggling. I mean, I think we all can agree, science is science, right? Can we? Exactly.
It's a whole different content. It's a whole different show for that one.
Exactly. And so
you got the social sciences that are having trouble with the biological sciences, and you have all the sciences are having a little issue trying to redefine themselves right now.
Right. And I don't know how we got here. I really don't. And, again, this is what we voted for or did not vote for, but this is where we are right now. And we're here, and this is the official policy now. And we have to live with it until, again, liberals and Democrats make themselves more relevant here in the state of Florida. This is going to be the law of the land. Yes, okay. Yes, reference climate change in science books. with the actual scientific facts. That is allowed.
Correct.
I think with this particular decision by DeSantis is saying, let's not get into the whole political piece about it. I think that's what you just
Exactly.
related.
That's all he's saying. He's saying just don't make the political statements. Don't say that humans are the cause of climate change. That would be a political statement. The climate is warming and climate change is created by.
So if I say that humans are the cause of climate change because of the invention of the combustible engine and the release of gas house harming toxins into the air, that's some factual truth. There is factual truth to that.
If you're talking about the
actions,
if you're talking about the transition into the combustion engine and stuff like that creates carbon. Also, carbon is created by the plume from a volcano. It's created by that's different.
Right,
if you're laying it out.
Lay out all
things that put carbon up there and create a problem. But make sure you use everything, and make sure that you don't blame one source, because our source is only a minuscule part of it. But we have control. Here's the thing that the Democrats are saying. We have control over that, so we can back that up. And that's what we need to be doing. Well, that's not a science. That's not a science. That's a solution. So
I've always thought that there's some things that we can do to reverse or limit the impact, the footprint on what
correct. That's not science.
What damages our environment.
But that's not in science. That's a different subject.
So let's say, for instance, I reduce my air flight over the year from 10 flights to maybe 3. That reduces my impact on
correct
the contribution to carbon into
correct.
Right,
but it's not measurable. Not measurable. That's not. I'm how do I put it? See, what I'm saying is you can't blame it on one source.
Right, I agree. Right,
and that's what's happening.
That's
what's happening. You're
my air flight contributed. Driving my car.
But you can say that.
To it. Yeah,
you could say that contributes to, that contributes to, warming of the climate. But you can't use you can't say this is what causes climate change, because there's no science is supposed to disprove, not prove things.
Right. I think we're in agreement. Yeah.
So that's what this whole debate is about, and you got some sour grapes because there's a few people that have their textbooks. Textbooks are expensive; they're hundreds of dollars a piece. And if I'm not getting my textbook in there and somebody else is getting their textbook in, I'm going to complain that the state is. Oh, the state's making me change my book. Just change a section of your book because you are a political activist.
Put a sticker on there.
I don't know how listen, I get it. But look,
I remember.
For me,
go ahead.
For me, just make a science book a science book. Biology is biology. Psychology is psychology. Psychology is a science that's totally out of control right now. And that's probably because everybody and their mother has a psychology degree. If you want to see how many people just decide, I got to go to college, so I'm going to come out with a psychology degree. So now we got psychologists telling us we have to embrace our feelings and genders and this and that and everything else. So it's out of control. Again, another episode. That's a totally different episode. But for this,
I know a couple of psychology majors.
Yeah. What do you go to college for? Psychology. But you can't figure out what you want to do with your life. Get the hate mail.
You're gonna get it. You are gonna get it.
If you're a psychology major, I want to know what you're working with. I want to know your job. You know how many salespeople I hired that would come in and say, "I've got a bachelor's degree," and I said, "Yes, it's in psychology." So you would be really good at sales.
Oh man, and I'm gonna catch shit because I'm laughing. I can't stop laughing. I'm so sorry.
You can't make this shit up. George is what happens. It's like all the majors.
Oh
You're gonna get in trouble.
man, Joel. And as I'm thinking about this, oh, we're so off the rails. I remember we just ended the graduation period, and there was I think it's Sunny State University of New York, and there was a TikTok or whatever a video, and I've seen this over the years of newly graduated students, and they ask them what their degree is, and and when you mentioned that, and just some of these degrees that seemed like they were just made up. The psychology of the redwood badger and its effect on the environment and how it is important to our ecosystem. Like something like that is an actual degree. And I was like, huh? What? What, what are you gonna do with that? You're gonna serve me my coffee at one of my favorite cafes or something? What?
I love it. When I went back to school, so I went to University of Central Florida, and I went specifically. I wanted to go into the limited access program in the Nicholson School of Communications
Mhm.
for advertising public relations.
Yes, sir.
Had no idea why you would go to advertising and public relations. Totally opposite, if you think about it.
Mhm.
One is paid media, and the other is unpaid media.
Mhm.
But I'm going to get a degree in both. So I'm like trying to wrap my head around this, and I'm getting the program. I go, oh my God, the amount of information and the border is so thin. It's so close together. It was like an eye-opening experience. But to have a bachelor's degree in advertising and public relations, and then people go, what is public relations? Then you hit yourself. You go, oh my God.
Mhm.
These are the people that affect you every day.
That's right.
They're the ones that told you that there's supposed to be climate change. They told you it was supposed to be greenhouse gases. Oh, it's the greenhouse effect. No, it's global warming.
Right.
No, now it's climate
Right,
change.
right.
Those are the guys that are behind it.
When I was in grade school, and I think seventh grade, I ran for like ecology, director. That was my first political foray into politics, and I was like, I don't know what ecology is. We didn't have computers back then, but I knew it had something to do with the environment. My platform was to collect, aluminum cans and, during lunchtime and, recycle them. Yay. I did my first election that I lost. And but the following year I did become class president.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you lost that one because you'd be the crushed can man.
There you go. Yeah. but then over the years, and my political mentors in Chicago, the Ballanoms, they were big environmentalists, and this is in the '80s, early '90s, and so I learned about the environment and global warming, as we were saying earlier, which is now climate change. I learned a lot about that in my young political years, and it's been a hallmark of my political life ever since the early '90s. And so, I understand now that we need to get past the hyperbole and start talking about the facts in a way that's digestible for the average American. And again, not a defense of DeSantis. However, this is the law of the land. This is the conservative law of the land. DeSantis is the governor, and this is how things are going to be.
Well, as long as it's in our legislation, and we're going to make sure that we're going to follow the law. The law says that you can't have a political agenda. You can't push, you can't push a philosophy, a political philosophy. And even if you think it leans, well, that's a Republican philosophy, climate change. Well, no, let's get back to the facts. Let's teach the facts. And it's just like everything else we talk about. It's facts, not feelings. If you're selling facts inside your book and you're not trying to affect the feelings and emotions of a student to embrace your doctrine, then you're good to go. So go back to a newspaper that didn't use these words like the felonious President Donald Trump. Call him President Trump, right? Just using all these different adjectives.
Let's just get former President Trump.
Hey, the
done with the name calling.
The sex offending tax collector Joel Greenberg,
former tax
collector
Joel Greenberg.
11 years.
Oh well.
You say it after you talk about who they are.
So, well. Again,
you can't make this shit up. The governor's doing his job. He's doing his job well. If you're a conservative, and he's doing a horrible job if you're a Democrat. But you know what?
He's doing the work of conservatives.
He's doing the job that he's been elected to do.
Yeah.
So, share. You can't make this shit up. David Washington, Joel Hoxley. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, The Informer, and listen. Buy those publications that are now available on j-washington.com. Go to publications, and you'll be seeing a whole lot of the writing and a lot of the stuff that we do here coming out, and hope you enjoy it.
Thank you again. This is the J in Washington Network. We're out of here.